Welcome to Half-pschorr, where the dreams are big and the wallets are smaller. I'm your host, Walker.
I'm also your host. Again, one day we're going to get this right and we're going to say co-host. I'm Eric. And normally, we generally start out with me saying, hey, Walker, what kind of beer are you drinking?
But
But
today
tonight we're doing something a little different because we're going to be drinking beer the whole show. And it's just basically going to be all about beer. So why don't you take us to drop some knowledge on us, Walker.
All right, let me take you on a little trip through history. Beer is one of the oldest drinks humans have produced. Dating back to at least the 5th millennium BC in Iran.
Are you reading this right off Wikipedia? I continue.
And was recorded in the written history of ancient Mesopotamia and spread throughout the world. I would also like to note that there's a bunch of different entries on when beer was first discovered. There's 7,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, there's 6,000 years ago. So beer popped up pretty much everywhere. Everyone wanted to drink. It was destined to happen.
I don't really know if there's an exact I am by no means a beer expert. Or even, I'm like bordering on enthusiast. So I really not 100% sure, but it seems there's different, like people have different versions of, when it got commercialized or when it was invented or founded or when historians found traces of it in old pottery and then they're calling that beer and stuff like that. So it's subjective.
And which brings us to our first beer of the night. We are getting Weihenstephaner.
Yes.
It was established in 725, I believe.
Sounds about right.
725. It was established as just kind of a small-time brewery.
Yeah, it was in like Bavarian monasteries, right?
Yep. It started out as a monastery for, let me double check the name because I don't want to misinterpret. It was established by Saint Corbinian with 12 companions in a Benedictine monastery on Narberg Hill, according to Weihenstephaner. And
which is the world's oldest brewery.
Oldest operating brewery, specifically.
That's a good point.
So today we got the Weihenstephaner. It's just the classic premium beer. I wanted to make sure I went with the most basics for Weihenstephaner just in case.
It's still the Hefeweiss, right?
It is the Hefeweiss beer.
Yeah, so it's their premium Bavarian. It's their wheat beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, I went to the liquor store and I was gonna grab a couple of the Weihenstephaners as well, but behold, my local liquor store didn't have them. So what I figured would be something interesting to do was kind of get something moderately similar that definitely drew influence from Weihenstephaner. What is this called? Fucking hacker-pschorr. It's their Weiss, their wheat beer, and it's Bavarian as well. So it's from Munich, and it's very old. What year was this? It was like 1400 something. So we're basically right now we're just drinking really, really old German beers or Bavarian.
We're gonna take a look at our past. Our obsession with beer has led us to finding the origin of modern day beer, because that's kind of Weihenstephaner's claim to fame.
And they're fucking delicious. That's like probably one of the best beers I've had.
It's a pretty good looking beer too for being a lager. I've got to say, like I'm kind of impressed. It smells hoppy too, very yeasty too.
1417. That's when this. No, I'm gonna put this in my other glass.
Okay, 1417. All right. Once you're done pouring, While you're pouring, I will take a sip of mine and I will give my honest review of it. Wow, that is impressive. It's very, very yeasty. I gotta say, it's very evident that that's like it tastes like it would if you were to like have a beer in the 7th century, basically. It's exactly how you
Yes.
would, it was exactly how you would imagine like old school beer to taste like, very like strong, very pungent. It's good. It's amazing. I love the signatures, like the wheat signatures in it. It's impressive. It's more impressive than
More better.
more better than what I expected it to be. All right, Eric. What do you got to say about your beer?
Um, give me 1 second. I'm just looking something up. Yeah, it's fucking. It smells delicious. It's like it, it's pretty obvious that they were drawing influence from Weihenstephaner.
Okay. It looks a little bit darker bodied too, as well.
Smooth. It's beautiful.
Smooth.
It's. I think it might be. It's probably a little darker. My screen's probably darker too.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's definitely. I'm gonna say, yeah, it's definitely a darker, a little more orange to it. It's smooth. It's one of the better wheat beers that I've had. It doesn't really have.
I gotta say, like, as far as wheat beers go, because like when I think of wheat ales and that stuff, I think of like Coors, Bud Light, Budweiser.
Ew.
Like the basic
Aren't those fucking
premium.
lagers?
Yeah, but they're still. I mean, this is a lager. That's a lager. It's. I think of that, but when I try this, you can taste the fermented wheat. You can taste the process that it went through to get to this point. It tastes very rustic. Is the best way to put it. Is that what you're getting out of it?
It's honestly, it's smooth, and it doesn't really have because one of the most popular wheat beers out right now is definitely like Blue Moon. And they
That's a Belgium ale too, so I mean,
yeah, it's their wit beer or whatever. And you can tell why they complement that with an orange, which I don't drink it with an orange, but you can tell why.
yeah,
It's remnant of. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying. Oh, geez. I'm not saying it tastes like Blue Moon. I'm saying the Blue Moon definitely got its flavor profile from these older Bavarian beers.
you can taste the influence. I definitely agree. It's kind of the same thing with like Shock Top, because Shock Top's another wheat based one, but it's got the citrus already in it to kind of counterbalance that
Yeah,
that fermented taste. Overall, I gotta say, I'm actually pretty impressed with the Weihenstephaner. I mean, of all the beers I've ever drank, I gotta say, I've never honestly drank in a Weihenstephaner before.
yeah, I've had them. Like I was saying before, I have a couple friends I used to hang out with, and they were really into the German beers, so they could probably tell us a lot more than I'm able to tell you.
Yeah,
But it's
but that's not.
very, very, very delicious.
You could go for days of talking about German beers, but that is not the entire point of our topic today.
No, basically we're just trying to. I here's my. When I said I'm not a beer expert, and I said I'm like bordering on beer enthusiast, I might not even be that. I think I just like trying new things from like different areas, whether it be food or beer or even like non-alcoholic beverages, like local, cultural, things that like differ in culture from all around the world. And I love that. And that's beer allows you to walk into your liquor store in fucking New Jersey and get some shit imported from Munich, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
One can almost argue alcohol in general is pretty transcendent of culture. Like, I mean, like
Yeah, definitely.
sake in Japan. I mean, you got it's the first one I think of, stouts in Ireland, vodka, Russian, like
You couldn't come up with scotch.
Scotch in Scotland, tea in Britain because they can't handle their alcohol. But
Well, I don't know if that's true.
what?
But yeah, I really like the cultural aspect of it, and just like having the different flavors from different areas, and you can see like where where it was influenced, and then you see the American renditions of wheat beers and
Yeah.
everything.
And like tasting this, like it almost tastes like the recipe hasn't changed much, and it's pretty good. But you can definitely tell that beer has evolved since this style of beer has been produced.
I'm definitely
It's almost like seeing a living fossil. Like you can see the
I'm
similarities.
I'm really bad at like describing things, so I'm like trying to describe it, and it's almost like I don't know. It just it's a really fucking good wheat beer, and
Yeah.
it's tough to really describe if you don't know what it is. I'm not like you go on like these review sites and they're like, oh, it's got a a hint of orange and a full body. Like I don't. It's a fucking good wheat beer.
Yes, I taste the high class.
Yeah, the head retention is subpar.
So while we're drinking this beer, we're gonna segue into our next beer, which we both have actually right now, so we can both kind of give a similar opinions on this beer. It's called Carlsberg. I don't know if any of y'all folks have seen the commercials, but the Carlsberg has been putting out this advertisement saying that they're using AI to pick up on their flavor signatures within their beer during the fermentation process.
That's like, go on.
And it's spearheaded by Microsoft. I mean, everything I looked up, Microsoft was the first one that claimed that. So Carlsberg is a Danish brewer that was established as a laboratory in 1876. So immediately you kind of see it as more of a science experiment, a chemistry experiment, than just a traditional brewery. I've never actually had Carlsberg, so I can't say like whether that's a good or a bad thing. We will find out shortly.
Yeah, I've never had it. I feel like I must have had it at one point. I think
I might have.
I think I know my friend Dennis enjoys a good Carlsberg. I think. Sorry, Dennis, if you don't like it. Just fucking making stuff up about you.
Yeah, right. Especially if it's crap.
Yeah, it's
a toss-up beer. I'm still drinking this beer, but since we're already on this topic, the AI, it hasn't been released yet. They haven't really made much comment on it. They're saying this is what they're hoping that it will do. Even like the front page of the Microsoft article says, "Can AI help brewers predict how new beer varieties will taste?" Carlsberg says, probably.
the fucking idiots over there.
Probably. So, I mean, it's all a concept at this point. So I got curious. I wanted to try Carlsberg because I had never heard of it before. So we both went out and we got ourselves Carlsberg. Now, I will precede this with Carlsberg. A 4-pack of cans is $5.99 at my local store.
Yeah, that's exactly what I paid for it too. I'm still looking for. Is this a fuck? I'm so bad with beers. Apparently, I was just looking at like the hacker-pschorr and the Weihenstephaner, if they're wheat ales or wheat lagers.
From what I got out of the Weihenstephaner website, it does say wheat beer. I don't know if they use the word lager in their stuff.
I know Carlsberg's a lager. It's a European pale lager. I only know this.
There is on their list of beers, there is wheat beer, dark wheat beer, light wheat beer, non-alcoholic wheat beer, crystal wheat beer, Vitus, original Helles. I don't speak Germany.
I don't speak Germany. I thought you did. Wait, don't you speak a little bit of German?
Not so much. Yeah. Fuck you too.
Sure.
So on their website, there's non-alcoholic. There's pills. It doesn't say Pilsner. No, it doesn't say Pilsner. It just says pills on their website. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah. There's tradition. There is Corbinian, which is I think the name of the saint that established them.
Yeah.
So he's got a beer named after him. Good for him. And then there's the 1516 Keller beer, which looks really good. It's actually one of the more expensive ones as well.
Okay, I've got the information. Apparently Weihenstephaner is a Helles, Helles, and it's light or pale.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's
a pale lager. Yeah, it's a pale lager.
Okay, so I was right. It is a lager. I kind of figured that anything like wheat based is kind of lager related. I don't really see a whole lot of whatever.
I always feel like I don't know. Irrelevant. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just like to drink beer, and I know what tastes good, and I know what tastes bad.
So you know what they call their festival beers? Fest beer.
Yeah.
And they call it Winterfest beer. Like they got some cool names for their stuff, their holiday beers.
Well, because there's what is there 6 breweries in Munich, and those are the ones that are there for Oktoberfest, and
Yeah, and actually, your
yeah,
for the life of me,
hacker-pschorr.
hacker-pschorr and Weihenstephaner are both like major players
Hmm.
during Oktoberfest in Munich.
Yeah, definitely. That's pretty cool. It's delicious. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm loving this beer. Like I can't wait to try. I can't wait to try the hacker-pschorr.
Yeah, yeah. When definitely, if you like that, you're gonna love this. Fuck. We're good. Nothing spilled. Here's an empty bottle.
Oh goodness. All right,
All right. So, but
are you
all right,
are you getting close to the end of your beer so we can move on to the Carlsberg, or
yeah.
do you want to enjoy a couple more sips while we converse?
Well, I wanted to bring up a few things about the AI.
Okay.
Especially with the big insurgence. Is that the big surge of everyone's opening up breweries now?
Oh yeah.
They're everywhere. They're fucking one after another after another. There's 2 in each town where I live. It's wild. It's just like everyone's just ditched their fucking day jobs and chasing their dreams, which is great.
Yeah,
They're just chasing their dreams of being a brewery. But the problem is, I don't think a lot of them really aren't producing what I would call
noteworthy.
Yeah, it's something. If they gave it to me out of their garage, it would be amazing. But to dump your, I don't know. I
will say the one of the more well known breweries out there, the Genesee Brew House, the Genesee Brewing Company. It's known outside of New York, outside of Rochester, New York, but Genesee Brew House, the brew house itself, has exclusive beers that exist only within their like walls. And I gotta say, it's pretty standoutish, I must say. Like, I've never seen a company so known for skunk beer turn around and make something that people will line up for hours to try their new beers.
When you told me that they make like craft beer and shit there, I was like, no, they don't. Genesee is ass. Genesee is like,
yeah,
you get cream ale because you're broke. You get Genesee ice because you hate yourself and you want to punish yourself, because it's $15 for a 30-pack.
And like that's one of like the more glorified examples of a place that, and if you know anything about Rochester, New York, that's where Kodak started, and Kodak failed, and the whole city kind of just went. Genesee Brewhouse has actually brought in a lot of revenue from tourism because people are wanting to try this like worldwide known thing that only has exclusive beers right at their own location. I mean, I've met they do a keg lighting every year for Christmas. They build a whole Christmas tree for kegs out of kegs, and they light it. They do a light show and everything. When I was waiting in line, for my $10 beer that I would drink in 2 minutes, I was talking to people from like California. I was talking to people from Texas. Like there's all sorts of walks of life suffering through the cold December night just to try the beer and to watch this keg get lit. Like it's pretty impressive what micro brews can do. Like micro things can do.
I'm a little conflicted on that because like, are they a micro brew or because they're a macro? They had 30 packs.
To be fair, they are a macro brew, but they do small batch for for their local stuff. Like there's stuff that I get access to that most of the rest of the world wouldn't get access to unless they came to like the kind of Tri-County area.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. So I really think that this, like, if this AI gets bigger, it's basically just gonna be really helpful for these people that are just saying fuck it and opening up breweries, because now they're gonna be able to monitor the different flavoring of their beer. I don't know exactly how this AI is gonna work, but it's just gonna be a game changer if it's accessible to.
I feel like it'll cut out impurities too, so you'll get a more consistent batch. Because I don't know much about brewing, but I feel like there is a room for error, and you might have to throw out a whole barrel.
Oh, just mail it to me. I'll drink it.
I don't care if it's got hepatitis C. I'll drink it.
I might draw the line at bloodborne pathogens.
that brewmaster had AIDS.
Well, it's a free keg. All right.
All right.
So before we hear, I'm just about done with this.
Okay. Yeah, I just finished mine up. There you go. That's how we move on.
But fuck, man, fuck this microphone. Before we do move on, oh my god.
Okay.
I do want to. show off a little genius invention I got here.
Oh. Oh, you had it in a plastic bag.
I did. I know. I told you I improved on it. So, I know we are doing a video, and I am showing you this, but I'll give you the rundown for people who are only listening. I don't have a fridge in my office. I don't own a cooler. So in order to get, yeah, all right, he's got a sick cooler.
It looks like a fridge.
Yeah, it does. So in order to have me not getting up all the time to grab beer, I took a cardboard box, an Amazon box. I lined it with
a Bed Bath & Beyond bag.
A Bed Bath & Beyond bag, and I put a bunch of bags of ice in there.
How many bags did you have to spend on?
They're just Ziploc bags.
So you yeah, okay.
Yeah. I just no, not like I have an ice maker.
Gotcha.
So I just put like ice cubes in little Ziploc bags, and I made myself a nice little cooler.
I could just,
guys.
For a second, I was just picturing you taking ice trays and like cracking them into a Ziploc bag.
Kidding me? We're balling out over here. So yeah, if you feel like donating to a good cause, send me a message and I'll give you my address. Send me a cooler.
give him a cooler from the 1950s.
It would still be an upgrade from a fucking. This is like a homeless man's cooler.
That like radiated Freon right into your brain.
Oh yeah. But yeah.
All right. So next to by the way, Genesee Brew House. Look it up.
Don't drink their fucking ice. Their Genesee Ice is probably the worst beer I've ever had. I almost couldn't finish the beer.
I'm pretty sure they just scooped the water out of the Genesee River and just put it in the cans.
It's
all right.
Absolutely disgusting.
All right. So on to the Carlsberg. Let's go.
Cowboy Bebop. My friend Dan got this for me.
Oh, we get to pour together, man.
Oh. You know what they say.
Those who pour together stay together.
Well, I was also going to say that this is a full pint. It doesn't fit in the not so
just
real pint glasses. What?
Just refill it when you get a chance.
And you can just tell me it's just like it's very, very clear. It's got almost like a
it seems more purified. Like it's gone through a couple more like purity processes.
Where's this stuff from? And this is
yeah.
Oh my god, let me see your disgusting pour.
Oh yeah, no, I fucked that up.
Jesus.
Where's your pour?
Mine? What do you mean? Besides from being perfect?
Besides that you missed like a quarter inch on the top.
Huh. I was gonna make. I don't know where I was going with that. It sounded like I had a joke ready to go, and it was.
I was getting ready for that roast. But...
No, where is this from? Holland or?
I believe it is from Denmark. Yeah.
Yeah, Copenhagen.
Copenhagen.
So, it's the European pale lager.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of head retention, it does.
It's a little fun.
It does. It's good though. It stays there. It's looking pretty good.
Yeah. All right. So that's cool.
I don't know if I like it at all.
I'm not as impressed with this beer. And I bought a 4-pack of this. Great. Now I'm gonna have to now I'm gonna have to wait till I get really drunk to drink this later.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's the key.
I mean, it's not terrible.
No.
But like going from like the Vine, going from the Weihenstephaner immediately to this, it's like there is a very big drop in quality, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like the the cloudy, really smooth wheat beers.
Yeah, and almost you could taste like all the ingredients. This almost tastes like the fermentation. There's no like you can't taste the ingredients. You can taste the fermentation. You know what? I'm not completely unsold on it though.
Yeah.
I mean, I've drank Natty Daddies.
Yeah. Let's be serious. Let's be serious here. Who are we kidding?
If I paid $5.99 for that, I'd drink it sooner than if I paid $2 for a Natty Daddy Tall Boy.
It's got a strange taste to it. It's like I don't know, like it's got like almost like a floral aftertaste to it.
It tastes like you ate a dandelion afterwards.
It does. That's not just me, right?
Mm. Yeah, no, it tastes like you ate a dandelion afterwards. It does. It's not bad. Okay,
Yeah, no. It's not bad.
like
It's not great though.
before we like start shitting on this company.
It's not bad at all. It's just not something that, like, if I was gonna drink like a really clear lager like this, I'd probably just go get like.
In their defense, they're always trying to be innovative in their company, while still staying true to like the more like European Germanic style beers. So I'm wondering if like it's kind of holding them back a little bit.
Well, they're the ones they're spearheading the whole AI shit, right?
Yeah, and I will say that I did see other types of Carlsberg at the store that I was at. I just went with the premium beer because I wanted to be as close as possible to the Weihenstephaner that I was having. Which, I mean, I think we both agree. Yeah, we were.
Well, they're just very different beers, you know.
But yeah, but I mean, they're still a similar style. So I was trying to go with a similar style so I could like kind of compare and contrast. Unfortunately, did not quite hit the mark as I was expecting.
You know,
But not altogether bad. I mean, it's got a nice little like. I mean, you can see that there's like the bacteria, the yeast is still like working its magic in there.
it's solid. It's I'd compare it to like a. This is like the Danish version of like I don't want to say Budweiser because I fucking hate Budweiser.
It's like, okay, the best way I could say it, it's like the Pepsi to Coca-Cola. They're different but similar enough.
Wait, but Budweiser and this?
No, this and Weihenstephaner, like this and like
no way. I don't agree with that at all. I don't think they could be any more different.
Really?
This just tastes like this just tastes like a traditional lager to me. It says it's a pale lager. I don't really.
I will say, like, you say traditional lager, but like in what sense? Like traditional lager in like the European sense, or traditional lager in like the American sense, where it tastes like water?
Yeah, in the shitty American sense. That's what I call a traditional lager.
This does 100% have more flavor than any lager you'll buy.
Yeah. It is better. It's basically just like, to me it's just a better version of like you know, your other American lagers.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's not bad. The more I drink it, the more I enjoy it. But the first sip was enough for me to kind of.
Yeah, I was a little sour to it. Oh, hey, hang on one second. I gotta let my dogs out of the room.
It's really not bad though.
Let's go. Come on.
I don't think I would buy it again.
Yeah.
I bought it because Walker was you know, we were doing this podcast and we were talking about the AI and the future of beer basically. So I decided to check out the beer that is spearheading that.
It's honestly not something I would have just like picked up because I thought it looked good. I mean, like, to the podcast listeners, you can't really see the can. It's just a basic green with the signature logo on it. It's not outstanding in any way. There's no art. It's really kind of just the can is kind of bland. It doesn't really stick out. Give it a try for yourself. I won't say that it's a terrible beer, like it's absolutely like just undrinkable. But if you're looking for like that good European lager, go for the Weihenstephaner or the still can't pronounce it, hacker-pschorr.
Yeah, they're amazing Weiss beers, the wheat beers. They're just amazing.
Though best way to put it, I have integrity, so I must finish every beer that I open.
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna drink them, obviously. And we're probably being more dramatic. It's a good beer, but not a great by any stretch.
Out of 5, I would have to say like 3.5.
Yeah, I'd go with 3.
Considering that we had just went from the Weihenstephaner to the Carlsberg.
You getting yelled at? We need her to sign a release form.
I'm sorry, my wife walked in. I wanted to make sure I acknowledge her because she
lives alone,
she just got home.
He doesn't live with anyone. All right. So really,
I won't
what
say
else is
anything on
there?
that one.
What else really is there? I'm excited to see where the AI goes in the future.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it'll change the flavors. Maybe it'll refine the flavors. I mean, I can't, unfortunately, in my head, I can't see it changing too terribly much the flavor. I see it more like, I don't know, making
I
it.
think I think it's just gonna be a new wave of technology.
Yeah, I mean,
You
don't
know,
get me wrong. I think it's awesome. I mean, we had to plug some sort of technology in here, and since this is an episode about beer, this is the technology that we went with. And again, it's still in development, so we don't exactly have like
really don't know. I don't know
the
anything
best
about it.
intel on it. Microsoft's notorious for kind of keeping their secrets until it releases. So
Yeah, I really don't know much about it. I can just see that it's just gonna be a new wave of technology in the brewing. Where
yeah, maybe.
everyone has like the standard manual.
And if this becomes like a readily available program, I mean, like microbrews could start using it, which would be pretty cool. Might be able to get some more standoutish beers at these microbrews. Those in Michigan, like they have amazing microbrews there. I know that.
They got them everywhere. Oh my god!
I will say though, when I was in Georgia, Florida, I did not see that many microbrews. What I did find is a lot of places that had beers from microbrews, but not from the local area. Unfortunately,
you haven't been there in what, like 2 years? 2 years?
I can't imagine that many microbrews popped up since then.
I swear, in the past 2 years, shit's popping up. Like people are just. I'm telling you.
I guess I'm kind of a snob because I'm from upstate. I'm from upstate New York, and we've been doing like the microbrew thing for years now. And there's like, I mean, you can't throw a stone without hitting a microbrew up here.
I was literally just thinking that. I'm like, I could throw. Like, I can literally. Well, I can. I'd say a professional football player, a professional NFL quarterback could throw a football to a brewery from where I'm sitting right now.
I'm sure it's not like like an NFL kicker. They can go a little further.
Can they? No, you know what? I don't even need a starting quarterback.
Yeah, hell with it. Just throw Peyton Manning out there. We got this.
I don't know anything. Give me like your star quarterback on your like local high school team. He could probably hit the brewery. It's close. Like, and then
so 10 feet. We had a shitty football team.
Oh god. But then there's also another brewery, 4 miles down the road. It's crazy. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
They just keep popping up.
Yeah,
and good for them.
I mean, who doesn't like beer? I mean,
a lot of people, probably recovering alcoholics.
They still like beer. They just choose. They just chose to separate themselves from it.
Good point. Maybe they like beer too much.
To be fair, I mean, like 35 billion gallons per year is distributed worldwide and consumed. Like beer,
that's a lot.
Beer is everywhere. Yeah. Like you're not gonna get away from it.
No, and it's
So why not apply? Yeah, exactly. Why not apply technology to this? Why not have more small businesses that have a take on this concept?
Exactly.
It's a pretty simple thing to make. I mean,
well, I would not venture out and say that I've never made it, so I can't.
Okay, so here we go. Step one:
no.
malting.
You're reading this on Wikipedia again.
No, I'm not actually. There is a blog called Beerriety, which we will put in the comments or the description, and it breaks down how beer is made. There is the malting process, which is they start drying out and cracking, blah blah blah. It's just the boring part, drying out the grain. Then you get to the mashing. The mashing will go through. It goes to the hot water, steeps in hot water, not boiling, but just hot water. It starts to break down the wheats into making more sugars. You start to get that little thing called wort. And once you siphon out the chunks and you have that straight liquid, that is the wort. That is pre-beer. It's like dough for bread. Then you boil it with hops and other spices and whatnot. That's where the hops come in. The hops don't come in until when the wort is already made.
We're learning.
You start boiling it. You add in all those flavors. The hops aren't quite
What other kind of flavor? What do people use? Barley? I've seen
barley, coffee, beans, chocolate beans, cocoa beans, I should say. Chocolate beans.
I, I think one of these, not to cut you off there, but I think one of these days we should actually get someone who knows what the fuck they're talking about, who like brews beer, even if it's like a local like garage beer or something. Them on the.
If I could sit down and talk to someone that like works at one of the local breweries, that does the processes, I would be more than happy to try to get him to sit down with an interview with me, and I can play it back on one of our episodes.
Yeah, it'd be perfect because that way because like I said, we're fucking idiots who like to drink.
It's shot in the dark. Whatever. Okay, so the last one, or the last two actually, is the fermentation process. Sugar plus yeast always equals CO2 and alcohol.
Sure.
The CO2 eats the sugar and then it poops out CO2 and alcohol. And you're just basically eating yeast poop. But it's
appetizer.
It's very good though. After it's gone through this process between like weeks and months, I mean, it just varies depending on what you're trying to make out of this, what you're trying to accomplish. You have an alcoholic beer. Now, initially when you make this beer, it's not fizzy. Like the fizz that you get out of beer doesn't exist. The CO2 isn't strong enough to make the kind of fizz that you want. Now, the process in which to achieve this is one of two ways. There is an artificial way where you can just drop like a CO2 like pill, canister, whatever.
They use nitrogen too now, right?
For stouts.
Okay.
And I won't get too into that because I'm not 100% on that process, but I do know they just use that for mostly stouts.
Okay.
For other beer though, they'll like there's these little like dissolvable things that turn into CO2 that'll fizz up your beer. Basically, it's like an Alka-Seltzer tablet for beer. But other than that, yeast will continue to consume and produce CO2 after it's been bottled. So once it's been bottled, what it does is that what people will do is they'll age it for weeks or months in this bottle, let it build up that CO2 so it's naturally carbonated. And it also leads to different flavors. It leads to a more like sour ale. You get this like the Saison, the farmhouse ales, you know.
But does it like come to a? Does it come to a stop, or like if you?
Well, the yeast will eventually die. I mean,
okay,
like
cool. Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
It all depends like on how much yeast you add. I mean, I'm not a brewmaster. I don't know the ratio. I just know the process in which to get to that point.
Sure.
Okay, so past that.
Look, now we know how to make beer. What, is there another step, or was that it?
That was it. Just the fermentation and carbonating.
Guys, we're fucking brewmasters now. This is beautiful.
All right, and how far are you on your Carlsberg?
I'm just about to finish it.
No, I'll finish it with you. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Really, just can't get away from that. Like,
it
really.
Something about it.
Fucking flour.
It's something about it bugs me. Like something that I'm just like not quite putting my finger on, but I'm not a fan of.
Yeah. When was
But that's just personal opinion at that point.
Talking about old ass breweries. This was 1847, and you did drink the world's oldest brewery before. What about America's oldest one? That's Yuengling, right? When was that?
That would be Yuengling. Yuengling, I believe, was 17.
You actually have a Yuengling right there?
I do have a Yuengling bottle right here. It's
Perfect.
the black and tan. Yeah, the black and tan bottle. 1829.
Okay. So that's
the oldest brewery. To be fair, America's really not that old. So if you live in the United States, you're not going to find like ancient breweries.
Yes, you're right. You know what? Valid. I didn't even think about that. Valid point.
So, but at the same time, I mean, a 200-year-old brewery is still kind of cool. I mean, Yuengling's coming up on their 200th year, 1829, 10 more years. It's closer than they were 10 years ago.
It's also closer than we were last year, but
exactly, we're getting closer to the 200th. So our first and oldest brewery is about to hit its bicentennial.
Is it
Go
the
out and
first
celebrate.
also?
It's either the first or the oldest. I think it's the first though, because it's from Boston, or it's from Boston, or it's originally from Boston and it moved down to PA. It's in Pottsville, PA right now. So I'm assuming it's the oldest, and the
My mic keeps bouncing. It's funny.
I need you to calm down.
I'm gonna need my mic to calm down.
All right, so we're done with our Carlsberg.
Yeah.
What do you got for craft brews? Give me a local one.
What are my options?
I don't know. Pick something. I'm gonna pick this one.
Oh, was that Laginta? What is it?
Oh, what a freaking crock of shit!
Why? What?
Petaluma, California, and Chicago, Illinois.
What'd you think it was?
So it's made in it's brewed and bottled in two different spots. Lagunitas. It is a stout though, which is my favorite beer. So I won't judge it. If we want to go local though, I do have.
Fucking knock everything over.
Wrong hole.
Oh no.
I do have this thing called Make Me Want a Stout, which is Big Ditch. That comes from beautiful Buffalo, New York, which is where Niagara Falls is located. It is a very, very good brewery. I have had almost every single iteration of their IPAs, their stouts, their porters. And I gotta say, I haven't really found many complaints with what I've had so far of them. This stout is actually brewed with coffee and cream.
I can get down with that. I think maybe like.
But it's not. It doesn't taste like coffee. It tastes like coffee beans.
Yeah,
which
I
really like.
5 years ago, I would probably. Yeah, about 5 years ago, I probably would hate that. But now, I think I'm like really starting to enjoy stouts a lot more than I used to.
Yeah,
and
I'll be
really dig that.
I'll be honest. It wasn't until about like I want to say like beginning of the winter of 2018 I really started to enjoy stouts. Like I was always more of a summer shandy kind of person. I liked my grapefruit beers. I love my like citrusy beers. But I've been on the stout kick and I can't get over the stout kick. I love the stout kick so much.
Especially in the winter. That you can't beat them in the winter.
Yeah, it's so full bodied. It warms up your soul. Even the cold. It's the only cold beer I've ever had that'll actually warm my soul.
I had a
And it won't make me beat you.
Well, there's I just poured the worst beer of my life.
No.
There's one I forget. I completely forget what it was, but I think it was called Avalanche or something. And I said, if I was stuck in a fucking snowstorm on a mountain, this is the beer I'd want with me. But yeah, I think.
Would you want beer or would you want food and means of survival? Nah, beer. You're right.
Probably beer. Probably beer. I need enough beer to get me drunk. If I had like one beer, that'd be really depressing.
If I'm gonna die a slow, painful death, like freezing to death, I'd rather be drunk and pass out for it.
Yeah, definitely.
If I'm not gonna wake up, I'd rather not wake up fucking hammered.
Yeah. Sure. But yeah, I mean, what else do we really got? I don't have any other beers because I just grabbed those two, and because like I said, I think it was in last episode, I've been really packing on the pounds, so I've been trying to stay away from beer. But since we did a beer episode, obviously I'm gonna go get some beers.
I mean, I would say we should do a shot episode at some point, or a hard liquor episode.
Probably a bad idea.
Probably a bad idea. We might make it 5 minutes before we're just like kind of like head down, kind of dying a little bit.
But you know what?
But local breweries, I gotta say, this coffee and cream stout, you'll never find like more unique things than microbreweries. Obviously, like what we said before, not a whole lot of standout stuff, but microbreweries are what is giving the population stuff that you don't normally get from the big companies. Like this coffee and cream stout. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's a couple iterations of it, but they don't come from the big companies. They come from the small microbreweries.
It's just about trying new things. And you know, like I said, I wasn't really impressed with all the local breweries that I've tried. But you know what? one of these days, I'm gonna have a beer that knocks my fucking socks off from one of these places that just opened up, and it's because you got to get out there. You got to. Life's about trying new things, enjoying it. You know.
Exactly. So, on that note, I will have to say goodbye. Thank you for watching us and or listening to us for those of us on podcast. Cheers and good night, folks.